Ago! Welcome to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park and Mausoleum in Accra, Ghana. This important historical site preserves the life and legacy of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the leader who guided Ghana to independence and became the country's first prime minister and president. The park stands on the former Old Polo grounds where Nkrumah declared Ghana's independence from the British colonial rule on 6th March 1957. Today, we will walk through the ground, visit the mausoleum, and explore some of the personal and historic items preserved in the museum. As we enter the ground, one of the most prominent features is the statue of Kwame Nkrumah, standing with one hand raised and pointing forward. The posture represents leadership, determination, and a vision of progress, not only for Ghana, but for the wider African continent. Nkrumah believed that Ghana's independence would be incomplete unless it contributed to the liberation of the rest of Africa. His vision went beyond the creation of independent African states. He advocated for political cooperation, economic self-reliance, and ultimately African unity. The landscape crowned fountains, carefully designed pathway create an atmosphere of dignity and reflection. This is more than a tourist attraction. It is a place where visitors encounter Ghana's independence story and consider the sacrifice made by those who challenged colonial rule. Nkrumah was born on 21st September 1909 in Crowful, in what was then the British colony of the Gold Coast. He trained as a teacher before traveling to the United States, where he studied at Lincoln University and the University of Pennsylvania. His years abroad exposed him to Pan-African thinkers and a movement that strongly influenced his political philosophy. After returning to the Gold Coast in 1947, he became involved in the campaign for independence, where he later formed the Conventional People's Party, commonly known as the CPP. Mobilized ordinary people around the demand for self-government now. His political activities led to his imprisonment, but the CPP electoral victory resulted in release and eventual appointment as leader of government business, where he became the first prime minister and led the country to independence in 1957. When Ghana became a republic in 1960, Nkrumah became its first president. His administration pursued ambitious infrastructure, education, industrial development programs, including development of Tema, the Volta River. Looking close, you see the Mausoleum building, which is like a tree stump. At the center of this park, it stands the final resting place of Nkrumah and his wife, Fatia Nkrumah. The monument is surrounded by water and approached through a formal pathway, creating a transition from open ground into a quieter place of remembrance, designed to give a solemn and dignified presence appropriate to national government. You've just seen now you're seeing Fatia's burial place. The one you've just seen before was Nkrumah's place. You see a damaged statue originally standing near the Parliament House. It was attacked and decapitated during the military and police coup of 24th February 1966, which overthrew Nkrumah's government. The damaged figure has been preserved as an evidence of the turbulent moment in Ghana's history. And now we are at this place of Nkrumah's life. We're looking at his life, his thoughts, and everything. You see photographs, documents, and personal belongings, which will help us understand him beyond the statue and political speeches. Gonna look at his journey from a young teacher, a student, nationalist, organizer, political prisoner, prime minister, president, And you can also see that they are demonstrating how Ghana's independence struggle became connected to wider African movement. Nkrumah developed relationships with prominent Pan-African thinkers, independent leaders, and other very prominent people. Ghana, under his leadership, supported liberation movement in other parts of the continent, while Accra became an important meeting place for activists, intellectuals, and political leaders. He was also instrumental in the formation of the OAU, now AU, in 1963. The institution later became African Union, as we call it now. He argued that new independent countries would remain economically and politically vulnerable unless they worked together. His record, however, was not without controversy, as his government invested heavily in national development, education, infrastructure, industrialization, but Ghana also experienced growing economic difficulties and political tensions. Opposition was restricted and Ghana became a one-party state in 1964. On February 1966, while Nkrumah was traveling to Asia, his government was overthrown by the military and police. He never returned to Ghana. During his lifetime, he settled in Guinea, where President Ahmad Sékou Touré welcomed him and appointed him honorary co-president. Nkrumah later became seriously ill, traveled to Bucharest, Romania for medical treatment. He died there on 27 April 1972 at the age of 62. Even after his death, the political struggle over Nkrumah's legacy continued. Remarkably, he was buried 3 times in 2 different African countries. His body was first returned to Conakry, Guinea, where he received a state funeral and was temporarily buried. After negotiation between the 2 governments of Guinea and Ghana, his remains were exhumed and transported to Ghana. On 9th July 1972, he was buried for the second time in his hometown of Conakry, of Nkroful. 20 years later, his remains were exhumed once again and transferred to the National Mausoleum in Accra. His third and final burial took place on 1st July 1992. The unusual journey for Guinea to Nkroful and finally Accra show how different communities and governments sought to claim and preserve the legacy of the leader. The museum, you see the table in front, the door in front, so as the museum contains additional personal belongings, documents, and historic materials in private exhibition, where photography and videography is not permitted. So find time to visit this memorial so that you can see for yourself what is there. To some, he's the founding father of modern Ghana, a visionary Pan-Africanist and one of the strongest voices of African unity. To others, his record must also be examined through the political repression of economic pressure, concentration, and everything. You can see other videos and images from the mausoleum. Feel free to visit and check out more about Kwame Nkrumah. Please, if you enjoyed this historical tour, please give the video a like and share your thoughts about Kwame Nkrumah in the comments. Do you consider him primarily a Ghanaian independence leader, a Pan-African visionary, or a complex political figure whose legacy includes both great achievement and serious mistakes? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, click on the notification bell so that you are notified whenever a new video is uploaded. Until next journey, bye.